Welcome back to Aussie Starcraft. This is Game 2 in WCS America Season 2, the finals, $20,000 on the line. We have the red Tyrant Jaedong, or EGJD in the bottom right hand corner, and in the bottom left hand corner we have CMStormPolt. The map is of course Newkirk Precinct. Fantastic map, new to the map pool in Season 2 if my memory serves me right. Excellent map. Replaced off the top of my mind, it's slipped my mind which map this did indeed replace, but a very interesting map in that there are only two locations that players can spawn in, bottom left and bottom right. These top locations are not spawn locations, so you can only ever spawn across from each other, which makes for a very interesting dynamic. The players know exactly where their opponents are spawning, and as you can see, Jaedong moving straight out with an Overlord to scout. Players can secure an easy natural, but third base starts to be more difficult with them exposed to multi-directional attack. On top of that, you have a massive gap here to protect on the main base. Very susceptible to drops, flyers, mutas, all of that sort of play. So it'll be interesting to see if Polt's able to put some pressure on with some drops on the main, and whether Jaedong exploits these fairly large ground travel distances to try and boil down Polt's defences. Now, if you haven't seen Game 1 already, go and check it out. It was a great game, showcasing some excellent strategy from both players. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Otherwise, you're going to get the results spoiled if you keep listening. Alright, so in Game 1 we did see Polt able to wear Jaedong down with the constant aggression. Very heavy bioline pushing into the fourth base was able to secure him the win. We'll see what Jaedong does to adapt to this in Game number 2. Spawning pool on the way for Jaedong, as well as his hatchery in the natural. We have Polt going for a different opening, where in the first game he opened straight away with the barracks and the Reaper with the command center on the low ground. This time he's electing to put that command center on the high ground and build the barracks a little bit slower. Obviously he must be worried about either rush distance or some early pressure from Jaedong, forcing him to cancel that if he builds it on low ground. Oops, sorry about that. Jaedong is known for his early game aggression and pressure, so it's not untoward for Polt to be concerned about that sort of risk to building it on the low ground. Orbital command on the way for Polt, and a bunker as well to secure that natural. And it is important to note that this is the finals. These players have progressed through a number of group stages and the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and eventually the finals themselves. These players have likely seen each other play over the last couple of days and are aware of some general play styles and strategies that each of these players employ. So that's why we're seeing these slight adjustments between games. They know the strategies that their opponents are likely to employ on the various maps, and are trying to meta against that as best they can. Polt's starting to throw down his wall off in his factory. Very little deviation from his last game. We have Jaedong similarly starting to macro up. I wonder whether he's going to go for the same Zergling, Bangling, Mutilus sort of play he was trialling last game, or whether he will indeed change it up and go for some Roach Hydra or maybe something else. Having watched a number of Jaedong's games previously, he does also enjoy using Zergling Ultralisk and some other late game compositions like that. So very diverse player, Jaedong. He's not a one-trick pony. Easily able to swap up his strats and surprise his opponents. Surprised that we haven't seen any sort of early game timings out of him as of yet. Probably because of the level of play that this is, and the fact that he knows that Polt is very, very good on defense, able to hold off against many of those early sort of Zerg timings. A few Hellions over here poking up. They will get driven back by these Queens that are out spreading creep with Jaedong. Jaedong obviously a bit concerned. He did see that big Hellion run by in game 1 that could have caused substantial damage, dropping a Roach Warren and some evolution chambers. Looks like we might have some big damage in this game. Roach on the way, Roach Warren on the way from Jaedong. Be interesting to see those and the pressure they can put on early. Last game, Polt did quite favour a marine heavy composition with Biomine, both of which are much less effective against the heavily armoured Roaches. Hellion's continuing to pluck around the edges, looking for creep tumors and other things to pick off. We do see 6 Roaches on the way, as well as +1/+1 from the Zerg, and Stimpak on the way for Terran. +1 weapons finally on the way for Terran. Zergs will finish up a little bit earlier, which will give them Polt being cheeky and plucking off a few of those lava down there. Just try and get any edge you can. Stop extra units being able to be spawned. Roaches moving out will shut down these Hellion. Flamethrowers don't do a whole lot against them. So Roach manages to take 5 flamethrowers to the face and still manage to spit acid, would you say? Spit acid all over those Hellions. Again, the Overlord's out on the map giving vision. I wonder if we'll see Polt go on his Overlord cleanup again, whether he will indeed be able to use those to gain great side advantage. This Hellion's slowly getting picked apart. We saw that Jaedong was able to hold that breach by parking all his queens in there, so we have quite a good adaptation from Jaedong, managing to prevent those Hellions from doing any extra damage this game. Polt moving out to secure his third, a few Widow Mines down now, and starting to see the formation of that Bioforce, a Marine Marauder. Interesting, looks like Polt's dropping some bunkers. I think he's a bit concerned about early aggression out of Jaedong. Maybe some sort of Roach timing attack, dropping these bunkers here to try and secure this area. I do see that Jaedong, as of yet, hasn't dropped any additional forces, still working with these 6 Roaches and a few Speedlings. Probably just going to put on some pressure and try and prevent Polt from being too greedy here. The Pathogen Glands on the way, and Unifies Carapace, give those Overlords a bit more speed, as well as the Pathogen Glands so the Infestors start with a bit more energy. As you can see, Jaedong doing a great job of adapting, going to have those Infestors out in time for whatever push comes from Polt, and be able to prevent and hold off those bases, and hopefully be able to keep the base advantage that he's really struggled with last game. Polt able to take a base for every base of Jaedong. See Jaedong's pooping a bit of creep here, not really sure why he's doing that, or if it's just a misclick or done for amusement. Zergar, after all, a fairly funny race if you play them. You'll notice that all the other races, Terran, Protoss, very clean, but pretty much with Zerg everything poops. Spews, does various other useless bodily function. Roaches in the lane, all the unrated explode 4,000 pieces. Bad day to be an Infestor, both of those Infestors being picked off by that Bioforce. What a very nice pick up there. All the Bio did die horribly, but 2 Infestors is a great pickup any day of it. Units lost, very even game, 1,000 resources in it, slight edge to Polt, but Jaedong does have more to lose. 4 base on the field. He is already saturated and mining at those 4 bases. Starport and extra barracks on the way. We have 8 barracks on the way, so this stream of bio, once it gets going, is never going to stop. Upwards of 16 Marines or less Marines and a few Marauders sprinkled in there. Won't be surprised to see 2 or 3 extra tech labs thrown down for a total of 10 or 12 Marines for Marauder production. See Polt already trying to clean up some of these creep tumors, a few Widow Mines here to fall back to. Push this creep back as much as he can. Jaedong does have Infestors on the map to deal with this. So this Zergling, Baneling, Infestor play should do quite well. Polt preemptively splitting, trying to ensure that Banelings don't get too great as possible. Jaedong very heavily throwing out some infested Terran to draw those widow mines. I love to see a player trusting Terran the widow mine then explode on it. Jaedong able to with this second strand of reinforcements able to drive the Zerg back on the field. As you can see, Polt is up to 8 Marines for Marauder production, so great production consistency coming out of our Terran player. A drop over here trying to get some love, but unfortunately for him, Jaedong drops some static defense and he will be able to push that away. More infestors on the way from Jaedong. If Jaedong can buy the time for his infestors to recharge energy, he will be in an excellent position. Likewise, it's difficult for Jaedong to continually maintain the amount of energy to be able to get this off. Some of these widow mines are actually doing friendly fire damage. That's the reason you'll see Jaedong running the Zerglings in first. That way when the widow mine targets and hits the Zergling, splash damage hits the other units as well, and does splash damage to Polt's forces first to Jaedong. Nice detonation there. Quite low health and picking up the field leads looking nice as Jaedong. More Marines in order to widow mines on the way from Polt. Just to this third base. Fourth base is still mining from Jaedong, but you can see just how unbelievable Polt base starts. He gets into the 12 and 15 just the other side. You can see Jaedong back in this play, just playing again, Ultras on the way. Not taking any distance. These in order to be careful. Much great. Nice little cuddles between Ultras. Sees those Marine and Marauders. Place with fungal growth and clean up. Start to see the units lost tab even back out at 10,000. That is the Overlords. Not the Overlords, the Ultralists. Ultralists being able to give Jaedong cost efficiency he has. Polt forced to drop that base because of the Ultralists. Always good to delay the mining a little bit. And Jaedong starting to stabilise, redropping his third hatchery, starting to move up towards these other locations to establish a safer fifth base. Creep out in the middle of the map, which is excellent, giving him lots of sight. Very hard for a drop to creep across the top. You can see his drones giving him sight of the last portion of the map. If we go to Jaedong's vision, we can see right up to the top of the map. Very hard for anything to sneak past there. And he's not susceptible to drops at all. A few medevacs moving across here, but as you can see, already found by the infestors due to that Overlord here and the kill attack. We have another drop pushing that third base yet again. Third base did drop or was cancelled by Jaedong and is having a delayed move for another 5 minutes again. Ultras moving over to this widow mine field, coming through here, crossing this field up the line there again. Ultras starting to go to town and fire. Oh, big detonation of the widow mine. Really not what Polt was looking for there at all. The volatile nature of those widow mines actually reserve players. Ultras getting stuck on the chain link up. These players continuing to posture back and forth in the middle of the map. Polt being active with a few little Marines and Marauders, dropping, moving around, harassing. But Jaedong able to force those units right back. More little skirmishes in the middle of the map. Queen's trying to take these down. Jaedong doesn't have a whole lot of anti-air to deal with these medevacs, instead forced to clean them up when the units land on the field or try and drive them away with static defense. And we do see a few spine crawlers and spore crawlers up in the exposed main base of Jaedong. Surprised to not see a little bit more direct drop play coming out of Polt, probably because of the amount of sight that Jaedong has on the map, but it was surprising not to see any of that earlier on, when it does normally factor quite heavily into games on Newkirk Precinct. Well, we're waiting for these two to jockey for position. Just love to let you know that as we are just starting up casting here at Aussie Starcraft, we are interested in what games you would like to see cast and see played. WCS Season 3 is on at the moment with some fantastic games. Really looking forward to the replay pack coming out for that. If there are any high-level games or high-level replays you'd like to see, go ahead and send them to us at aussiestarcraft@gmail.com. Otherwise, or link them to us on Facebook. Our Facebook page will be down below. Love to hear or see those and pass them on. This third base here, ultra saving great number of rows. Just short of up this last 5 or 6 minutes. Well, the couplers can shoot the medevac and not be able to stop Just is getting picked off by the Marauders. That is indeed unfortunate for Jaedong. Would have really liked to have kept those on the field. If we check out the units that are currently available, we have only 46 Zerglings and 2 Ultralists from Jaedong, whereas we have 11 Marauders, 21 Marines on the field. I think Polt can sense the blood in the water. He's putting on that pressure once more, moving out to what he knows has to be the 1 or 2 mining base of Jaedong. Polt mining on fumes in his natural, less than 1,000 resource left there. His third base similarly running low. He will need to saturate this fourth to keep the pressure on. Whereas Jaedong already mined out his natural and his main base, but the fact that this third base keeps getting taken out is preventing the income he'd so dearly like to have. We have the 6th base also up from Jaedong, unfortunately unable to mine up here at the moment, and Polt has seen that, is now moving out the massive fire force to try and secure stop Jaedong from mining at this base. In order to move in, Oculus coming on the plane, nice big pedals these Marauders, good arms, taking his Oculus and nowadays Marauders are just moving through his Oculus and hold it back and forth, stick areas and do so much damage. Hold it crazy. Of course those Oculus to just circle and circle and circle. This last Marauders able to drop it and take that hammer. That's a devastating blow for Jaedong. Even picking up those last Marauders so that they're safe from the Broodlings. What a beautiful touch from Polt. And that is going to put Jaedong in a very uncomfortable situation. Down to 1 mining base, this hatchery almost back up, but being forced to long distance mine. You can just see the pain that's putting Jaedong in at the moment. You see his gas income still skyrocketing, but the perpetual taking of this base is just severely cutting into his mineral bank. Polt's macro just flying at the moment. 20 Marines, 10 Marauders still on the field. It's 130 supply to 115 supply, and being down in supply is never good as Zerg. We generally not trade as cost efficient. Seeking to see all it fizzle out. There we go. Nice save there from Jaedong, paying attention, keeping those infestors alive. Cannot afford to lose anymore. See that Polt starting to use these ruffles up the course of this. Almost fucking broken. Of course, big Widow Mine detonations. This is our fire able to tear through that third once again. Marines in order to take out elevation, shooting these guns. Overall strength, gobble up the last of this fire, but reinforcements over the Tyrant still never take down a number of these investors. Polt was mind-blowing in his last field, be able to take down many more of these investors and then have serious now. Jaedong retreat up in the base, pulling the drones up lines. Last stand on the Tyrant, here in game number 2. Jaedong trying to defend investors, but unfortunately Polt being the one sneaking missiles out of the ratings to clean up the last of the infestors. What a game. 30 minutes of CVT goodness. Excellent level of play. I fear for Jaedong. He's such a fantastic player, but it's clear from Polt's success at this tournament, particularly against Zerg players, that his Terran vs Zerg is just at a fantastic level at the moment. Obviously trained rigorously against Terran players on the ladder and just prepared these strategies, this relentless pushing of the third, specifically to target and weaken Zerg players. And we've seen the effect it's had on Jaedong in both these games, able to significantly weaken this third base and stop the Zerg from making it to the really late game tech. Jaedong did adapt and do better this game, able to get out those ultralists. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to keep up with this phenomenal macro out of Polt, able to stream 8 Marines and 4 Marauders at a time, along with some mines to support it. I really hope you enjoyed this game. The best way you can help us out is to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, or just go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you are a Facebook or Twitter user, please go ahead and share our videos on Facebook or Twitter. Help people know that there's a new caster out there trying to support esports and lift their image here in Australia. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast, and we'll see you next game.